Surf's up, buddy. Let's do this. It's been ages.
Oh, I don't know, man. I've still got a bit of stuff to do around here.
What do you mean? We haven't been surfing since your baby was born, man.
Well, yeah, I've just been kind of busy with her around.
Dude, are you feeling okay?
Look, honestly, ever since the baby came around, I've just been a bit, saggy. I'm a bit embarrassed about my body.
Mate, you should not be embarrassed about your body, champ. Like, anything that's that big will have some sort of sag.
Oh, I don't know. Have a look. Tell me what you think.
Mate, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just going to put it out there. I am jealous of your body right now. Look at them. Look, these are very, very impressive set. This is great. Like, you can't go comparing yourself to these models and Hugh Jackman and these people online. Don't worry about it. You look fantastic.
Oh, thanks, man. But I don't know. I still feel a bit, just self-conscious.
Look, my mate Benny, he went over to Malaysia and he ended up getting testicular augmentation. They look great now, but look, apparently he sees a great doctor.
It's a bit expensive, isn't it?
No, this doctor does it really cheap. He's really, really good. He's awesome.
Oh, okay then. Oh, let's get to it.
Research to try and sound genuinely like I was doing well. I don't know
how this is going. Welcome back to part 2, Byrne.
Don't tell me what to do.
Don't you tell me what to do, you damn kids. In my day, I used to walk uphill to school and home from school.
In the snow both ways.
In the snow both ways.
And we didn't have any of these fancy pocket computers. No GPS, I had to use the stars. No sunlight when I was a kid.
There's no sun like it is these days. I had to walk to school in the dark and home in the dark. Yeah. Well, look, I thought we'd
continue with our
aging. So this is So if you're listening to this is the second part of aging. Last episode we did, what was it? We did why the immune system gets weaker, why you're more likely to get cancer as you get older. So what are the reasons for that?
Reasons for slowing metabolism, and of course wrinkles. Why you got wrinkles as you got older.
Yeah, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at hair graying and why we're...
yes, the old greying hair, the other obvious symptom of age.
Yes, and usually, like, some people like the kind of silver fox kind of look. Some people hate it. Some people like the salt and pepper kind of look. And personally, I like them. I think
I kind of dig the silver fox.
Yeah. I think like you look at there's a few actors around there. Who's a famous actor that's got the old
George Clooney's got a bit of salt and pepper going on.
Yeah, definitely. He sports that well.
Yeah,
he sports that well.
There were a few silver foxes back in the golden period of the silver screen.
Yeah, well, silver foxes.
Yeah, silver foxes in the silver screen.
They were all grey back then. Yeah, so I thought first I'd start off with hair graying. So why does our hair go grey, and then move on to seeing and hearing? And what are you looking at, Byrne?
I'm looking at all the saggy bits, all the things that start to droop as we get older.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep. And I've gone for man and female. Don't want to discriminate here.
Oh, good on you. Yeah. Excellent. Well, there are bits on men that sag and there are bits of the women on sag.
That's right. Yeah. You should have. I spent a lot of time looking at pictures.
Yeah. I was wondering what that thing is there. I reckon what you do is you just like go, oh, we're going to do an episode on this thing because my wife caught me looking at it the other day.
That's right. All right, Wade, we have to do an episode on porn. Again.
But if you want to listen to our 7-part series on porn. So hair graying. So hair colour is produced by cells known as melanocytes, which migrate into the hair bulb as the hair follicles...
The hair bowl?
The hair bulb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What you thought I said?
Bowl, like
B-O-W-L. No, bulb.
Oh, okay, that makes
sense.
As the
hair follicles develop in the utero. So the melanocytes produce pigment that is incorporated into growing hair fibres to produce hair in a bewildering array of natural shades.
Oh, you've totally ripped them. Is that your words?
No, it's not. No. It's Robert Sinclair from the University of Melbourne.
Bewildering shades.
So there are kind of hair colours. So the reason why you've got blonde hair, I've got a dark browny black kind of, like almost as black as a crow's feathers. Very attractive, very manly kind of hair colour. You've got some sort of, I don't know what the hell that is. That's like Hanson.
I've got Prince Charming style hair.
People can't see you flick it, mate. Did it hit the microphone? So hair colour depends on the presence and ratios of two groups of melanins. You've got the eumemelanins, which is the brown and black pigments, and you've got the femmemelanins, which is the red and yellow pigments.
Okay.
So it's the balance of those.
So you and I have
colours.
the different pigments going on then?
Well, it could be the presence, but the ratios as well. So if there is, so if there is kind of like, say you've got brown, then we would have similar pigments in our hair. But you've obviously got more of one pigment, and that gives us the array of colours, like the spectrum of colours that we see.
Oh, that's cool.
Hair colour. Yeah, it is interesting. So
rangers just have a very rare pigment going on.
Yeah, that's exactly.
For our American listeners, rangers are redheads.
Yes. Oh, they know, don't they? Or they call them gingers. So.
Gingers, I think, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah. So as the so obviously the hair naturally isn't a color, if you know what I mean. So hair doesn't like grow out and then it's that color. It's because of those pigments, obviously, in the bulb and then growing out. So as the hair starts to grow, fall out again over the life, it starts to actually lose that pigmentation. So that's why it turns grey, because it's just a lack of pigment. Okay. There. So it's not. So if you'd actually like the hair naturally, it's the pigment that makes the color. But if you'd actually grow a hair without that pigment, it would actually be grey anyway.
Oh, okay. So
like
the default colour, if you will, of hair is grey.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like a canvas in which the pigments obviously paint it to create a specific colour.
It's like an old school TV.
Yeah. Now, it is. So stress doesn't actually cause. So stress doesn't turn hair grey.
So when people pop out kids and suddenly turn grey, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like President Obama. I've read in a couple of articles and they're saying, President Obama gone grey because of the stress of the White House. No, that doesn't cause that. So they turn grey, as I said before. So once a hair follicle produces hair, the colour is set. If a single strand of hair starts out brown or red or black or blonde, it's never going. So it's never going to turn grey. Your hair follicles produce less colour as they age.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a part of. So it's just through this natural cycling of dying and being regenerated. So it's more likely to grow in as grey beginning after age 35.
So is hair really sort of white, and we call it grey because there's that little bit of pigment, perhaps just sputtering along?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you see people who lack pigment in their hair, people have they'll have a patch.
Yeah.
That's usually very white.
Yeah.
Where they've obviously lacked pigment. So. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
That is kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can mess with the pigments in my hair now.
Yeah, so, and by the way, so when your hair, turns grey, it's influenced by your genes, and which you've inherited from your parents. So don't blame the stress at work for turning your hair grey. It's actually your genes. It's your genetic makeup that actually causes it.
Mum and dad giving you the greys.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if it's the same with your pubes.
Don't know.
I wonder if your armpit hair can get grey.
I don't know.
How grey can you get? I've seen a few older dudes at my surf club with grey chest hair and thing going on.
Yeah.
I guess pubes would go grey
Yeah,
then.
I don't know.
I'm not going to ask them.
Naturally, your pubic hair is darker than your head hair, and your beard hair for males will match that of your pubic hair.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah. So,
my beard hair's quite brown, though. Oh, yeah, because my head hair's blonde and my pubes are brown.
There you go, man. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
and that's some free information for you listeners out
there. You look at Lionel Messi. It's like he's a total ginger dick.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
Well, he is, because when he grows a beard, it's red.
It's red.
He's got the brown hair, so he's a ginger.
So you got a ginger beard, you got a...
Yeah, so it's quite common for people with brown hair to have a more reddish colour pubes.
So the curtains don't really match the drapes,
no.
Usually. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like, I don't know what the equivalent would be for beards and curtains, and what kind of upholstery
I don't know.
Relates to beard, hair and pubes.
It's really, I really don't care about thinking up any other. Okay, so what do you got for us, Byrne?
I've got bits that go saggy. So last week we covered wrinkly things, and it got me to thinking, well, obviously as women get older, their boobs get a bit saggier, and as men get older, our testicles tend to swing a little lower. So I was wondering, is that to do with the skin? Because your skin sort of wrinkles up. It doesn't necessarily sag. You don't look like you've melted or anything. So is there something else going on?
Yeah.
And I found that there actually was, which got me into more research. So I spent a lot of time this week looking at saggy
balls.
nuts and saggy boobs. Yeah. It's kind of ruined my sex life for at least the next fortnight.
Why?
So I'm just going to be picturing saggy nuts and everything. Just coming in. Oh, dear. All right, where should we start with the boobs or the balls?
Balls.
We should start with the balls.
Start with the balls.
All right, so testicles, their hanging length is largely determined by something called the cremaster muscle.
The cremaster.
There is a muscle attached to the inside of your balls.
That is clearly named after someone, that cremaster.
Cremaster muscle.
cremaster.
Cremaster. The cremaster muscle.
Some people get a Nobel Prize. Some people get named after the
Scrotal muscle.
Scrotal muscle that determines how low balls hang. I don't know if it is named after anyone. Maybe
I don't know. I didn't look that up. Who got to name that? Who was the guy that was cutting into a nutsack and went, "Oh, found a muscle in here, everyone. Watch me pass an electric current through and retract this guy's nutsack."
What's the name of it?
The cremaster muscle. Cremaster.
Cremaster muscle. I'm looking this up. It's a cremastic reflex.
Yeah, I think that's the ball retraction thing. Right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a hook-like butterfly pupa serving as an anchor point. Maybe it's not oh, God, there's all just balls that have just appeared on my iPad. It's great.
Yeah, wish you went incognito now, don't you?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Now, this muscle is responsible for, when it gets a bit cold, your nuts go up inside you, and when it's a bit warm, they're a bit low and dangly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the cremaster muscle, because your testicles have to be kept at a temperature about 2 degrees less than your body temperature, which is why they're outside the body. It's why they're hanging out. So that cremaster allows that temperature control to actually take place. The problem is, though, as with many, many muscles in your body, with a little bit of gravity and a little bit of time, you start to lose tone. So same with all the muscles,
Yeah.
Obviously, you're losing tone. When you're a teenager, you're probably using it a bit more as well, so it might be a little bit stronger. So as you get older and your time catches up with you and you're less prone to exercise certain muscles, they tend to lose their tone, and that leads to saggy balls.
Really?
Yeah, so have you heard of Kegel exercises?
No.
So Kegel exercises are popular among pregnant women and postpartum women as well for strengthening up
strengthen up the vagina.
Turns out Kegel exercise is also very good at toning up your cremaster muscles. So Kegels are for men too.
Wow.
So if you do that, it can tone it up and it can also reduce the scrotal sagivity.
So if you're in church, and you're bored, just do some exercises.
Or in class or wherever you might be. Kegels all day. Get that.
I live for the Kegel.
Live for the Kegel. You wait till that money shot comes. I'm hitting the wall on the other side of the room.
Oh, God.
Now, if Kegels don't cut it for you, they do have scrotal reduction surgery where excess skin can be removed and then it just sort of tucks it up by itself a little bit for you as well. And it's only a day surgery too.
Wow, how convenient.
Nice. Yeah. Now, there is I love this. There is one doctor talked about a particularly saggy set of testicles, and he's called it the splashdown syndrome.
Oh, this sounds awesome.
It's exactly the reason you think it is too, honestly. It's for testicles that are so saggy they actually hit the water when you sit in a toilet.
Imagine having balls that saggy.
Imagine the first time your balls hit the water, though, because there'd have to be a first time where you just get blunk. Oh, no.
No, this is... But, even, if you sat on the toilet and flushed, the balls would be just like...
I'm going to do that. That felt really nice.
And imagine being on one of those, those Asian toilets where you stand. Imagine wonder if there's anyone who's actually touched the water there.
Or if you get in a bidet and turn it on, and then your balls end up hitting you in the face.
Oh! Whiplash. Oh, man, that is some serious sag.
That's some pretty good sag.
They
might have a particularly full basin, perhaps. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they got a skinny ass and they're sitting a bit lower in it or something like that.
What's it called? Splashdown.
Splashdown syndrome.
God. Imagine that. You know what's funny? In 50 years' time, one of us will sit down and be like, Psh.
Well, I'll be damned.
I'll be damned.
I'm going to text Wade now.
We're gonna bring up Wade's hologram. Hey, Wade.
Wait, why could I see you in the toilet? I've got the splashdown syndrome.
Kids. Stop pretending to be naked.
All right, let's move on to the breasts. Okay, now breast sagging or ptosis, breastosis, is not a consequence of muscle loss like testicles, because there aren't any muscles actually supporting the breast. Like, sure, women have pectorals, but those are pectoral muscles. They're not supporting the breast tissue. Okay, now breasts are held up by something called Cooper's ligaments. Now that's clearly a guy's name, or somebody's name. So Cooper's clearly found the ligaments in the breast. Okay, and these ligaments, bit like muscles, naturally stretch under gravity. Now, if you're rocking a pair of like double Ds or greater, they're going to stretch more. That's just physics.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, other reasons they stretch as well, and you get saggy boobs, apart from aging, is exercise with a poorly fitted bra, or maybe nude trampoline jumping. That'll do the trick too. And they can move up, down, sideways, or in figure 8 patterns. Spent a lot of time finding videos just to verify this.
Do you remember Jimmy Kimmel?
Oh, what was it? The Man Show.
The Man Show.
Every time I watched that,
gets out,
I felt dirty.
Yeah, I know. And then he gets out and talks about Hollywood respecting women as equals and stuff like that. It's like, mate, you had a show called The Man Show that would end with girls jumping on trampolines.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I do think it was quite chauvinistic, but I watched it more than once.
Yeah, I watched it too, but it was just like, it was, you know, those things where, like, it's too blokey, and you're like, okay, you just, like, this is just stupid.
I'm not that into lawnmowers, if I'm honest.
Yeah. It's like, let's have beer, let's all chug a beer together. And you're like, this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, now girls jumping on trampolines. And then fast forward 10 years, he's like, Hollywood needs to learn to respect women. It's like, shut up. Like, you're a dickhead, you know? Like, have someone actually there whose career actually started and kicked off on a show called The Man Show, or thereabouts on a Man Show. It's like,
he's entitled to change his mind.
He's entitled to change his mind, but you reckon they could have got a better fucking spokesperson for it?
Probably. Get off that high horse with your saggy nuts before you crush them. Yeah. You old bastard.
And kids these days. They're going to be started on the kids. All I'm saying is there's better options out there.
I 100% agree, honestly, yeah.
You know, someone who has actually shown to respect women throughout their career and build a career on that, as opposed to someone whose early career was launched from having a show which just completely downgraded women.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
no, I totally appreciate where you're coming from there. That show was definitely geared towards a certain audience.
Yeah, it wouldn't fly today.
No, it probably wouldn't, would it?
No.
Nah. That's kind of nice, though, I think.
Yeah, it is good.
Although I would like to see more shows about beer drinking. That'd be good. I'd be down
Oh,
with that.
yeah. Beer drinking's good. Yeah. I like beer drinking.
That was the best part of that show.
That was the best part of that show.
I'm like, I feel like having a beer right now. Now, other things that are obviously factors in leading to saggy boobs are pregnancy. Okay, and that usually comes with age. It's pretty difficult to get pregnant when you're younger, and, you know, the more kids you have, you're generally going to be older as well, unless you're like, I don't know, Catholic or a redneck. Now,
Catholics have a lot of kids.
Yeah,
so
I
do
know.
rednecks.
Yeah, it's massive stereotyping, but I think that's true. Yeah. Now, the thing is, more pregnancies also lead to more droop, and there's actually a pretty good correlation between the number of pregnancies and the sagginess of the breast.
Oh, okay.
There's also related to hormonal changes too. So obviously, as you get older, your hormones changing. Like we mentioned before, you're making less human growth hormone after you turn 30. So obviously, women are making vastly different hormones as they age and go through pregnancy and different cycles and what have you. That affects the droopiness of the breast. Now, a 2010 study found about 35% of women's breast size decreased and about 30% of women's breast size increased following a pregnancy, and about 85% of breasts changed shape. So this is after they'd gone through the pregnancy and the breastfeeding stage. So basically, if you have a baby, your breasts are guaranteed to change shape, and they're probably going to get a bit saggy. The longer it goes on, the saggier you're going to be. A 1998 study showed that increasing size and sagginess also leads to increased sensitivity. So, on the plus side, that means you can really go to town a bit harder on your missus as your relationship goes forward. Well, as long as she enjoys it, obviously. Don't look at me like that. It's just a fact. You know? Tweak it that little bit harder if she's into it.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was really bad how Jimmy Kimmel really respect women. It's like, yeah, you can go to town on your missus.
I said if she wants to. This is all about... Let's be honest. women are allowed to feel pleasure too, Wade.
I absolutely agree with that.
So if they're into it, as they get older, you might just have to twist that nipple an extra degree around for her to feel it. That's all I'm saying. What? What? It's science. A 1998 study found this. There's a high rate of
By
correlation.
Professor Kimmel. All right. So I thought I'd move on to something a little bit more tasteful. Seeing and hearing. Just like I can see and hear that you're an absolute pig, Byrne. So obviously seeing, obviously with the eye, obviously people as they get older have more trouble seeing, most people, unless you're my grandmother-in-law who doesn't even need glasses, can read totally fine without it. But generally speaking...
Well, her eyes probably still aren't as good as they were when they were 21. She probably had fucking X-ray vision when she was 21.
I know, right? Probably like Cyclops. Just tearing apart buildings, cutting them in half. And so the change to the eye occur in the aging process. So usually what happens is it's the stiffening and colouring of the lens. So obviously the lens is what you see. It helps kind of refract the light, that in the cornea, but the lens helps refract the light onto the retina.
As you get older, the lens stiffens.
Yeah, it starts
A
to
bit
stiffen.
like the nipple.
Mate. Hey. This is not called Sci joke. This is called Sci-gasm, okay? The Sci stands for science, so show something, all right?
I had a 1998 study.
And also the reduction in the number of nerve cells. Obviously, nerve cells dying off and things like that. And as we know, we've got the photoreceptors in the eye, which help pick up colour. And so the cones help pick up colour. The rods help pick up kind of the different shades and movement and things like that. So that can also play a part. And also the decrease in fluid in the eye.
Really? In your, what is it, the aqueous humour?
The aqueous humour, yes. That's
You
exactly
get
right.
less liquid in your eyeball.
Apparently there's a decrease of fluid in the eye.
Does that mean you just like squish it? Can you put a little indent in it or something?
He's like, hey, Grandma, check out this. Oh, no. All right, Grandma, we've got to go to hospital. So the funny thing is that with the elderly, a lot of people don't realise that this is a major contributing factor to like clumsiness in elderly people and things like that. So people, one of the clumsiness is obviously falling over, not picking up things. Because they're not...
Being shit drivers?
Who can't you offend?
Well...
No, but in all honesty, you're exactly right.
We did stipulate at the beginning that we were making great generalisations here as well.
Well, once again, it doesn't affect everyone, but these type of things can affect, obviously, obviously reactions. Depth perception is a very big one, which causes a lot of problems with the elderly. What the symptoms I mentioned before can play huge parts in affecting their depth perception, which obviously, shit driving. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. That's why people need to go for driving tests when they get to a certain age, because cognitively and reactionary and even visually, that's what age does, and we will have to undergo that process one day.
Nah, we'll have robotic cars by then, mate.
Yeah,
we'll be
that's
sweet.
true. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
We're good, yeah.
We're sweet. Yeah, they should take their license. I was driving behind this person the other day, and like literally went to pick up my my grandmother-in-law from. She's in a retirement village, and this lady just reverses back, pulls up right in front of our car, and I'm thinking, it's like the way she was reversing was like, vroom, vroom. It's like not even like gradual. It's just like, and just like, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, they're gonna hit our car here. She goes and gets a friend. This lady, it looked like she had Parkinson's. Like she gets out and she's shaking, and I kind of got out to ask for help. So I got out to ask if she needed to ask for help. Help! I got out and I walked up behind her and I was like, I'm gonna look great here, you know. I'm like, I'm with my grandmother-in-law, with my wife. This is gonna give me some brownie points. Yeah, and I walk up there. Excuse me, do you need any help? And she couldn't hear me. And she's the driver. And I walked up and I'm like, oh, sorry, do you need a hand? And she like, just by chance, she turned around because she needed to get her friend's walking frame. And she goes, and she got scared because I was there. She couldn't even hear me. I'm thinking, oh my God, how do you have your license? You can't hear like very well. And then she gets her friend's walking frame and like just goes and just throws it into the car and then gets stuck. She's like, and she's like literally like getting
Attacking your car?
No, not at my car.
Oh, fuck. I was like...
No, like trying to jam it in a car. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ. And this poor lady's in the front who can barely, like, walk. She's in the passenger seat. And, like, she's almost copying this frame in the fucking head. And this lady's going, and she's, like, just throwing, and then gets the door, just slams it shut. And I'm, like, standing there going, oh, my God. Like, so they drive off. And then we just so happen to be following up the street. And there's this... So they were in, like, Wahroonga. So you grew up in the area. It's, like, BMWs, Mercedes type thing. It's
quite a well-to-do area in Sydney's northern area.
Yeah. And so we're driving through there, and all of a sudden, she's like just driving, and I'm thinking to myself, "Fuck!" She's swerving and she just goes past this car and goes, bang! Hits the side of the fucking mirror on this like BMW, like was it like X or Z4? I don't know what it was, like something that would cost easily like over 100 and something thousand a year, and just goes bam. And then she turns a corner. You look down the side of a car, and it's all wrecked down one side, and then she smashed. And I'm like, she's gonna fucking kill someone. And that tangent went on way too long, but I thought the listeners needed to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so hearing.
So in summary, old people can't drive because they don't see very well.
So, anyway.
Take a bus, Grandma.
And so when I was speaking to the lady, she couldn't hear me. So hearing. So one of the reasons why we lose hearing and this is like there is no segue into this next part. I tried with the speaking to her, she couldn't hear.
It was pretty terrible. It was pretty terrible.
A fucking terrible segue. So anyway, so one of the reasons why do you remember those little mosquito apps on phones when they go? They make the really high pitched noise, and everyone in the class could hear it
except for the old person in the class.
Yeah. So. Those things actually play on something that happens and will happen to most people at different rates. So one of the things when you do a hearing test, they say, okay, if you're from this age to this age, you should be able to hear this noise, and then you're from this age. And as you know, as you get older, it gets lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, the frequency, pitch, you can't hear high-pitched sounds the older you get.
Yeah, the frequency's greater, which means it's a higher pitch, and so on and so forth. So one of the reasons why we actually lose that ability to hear that high pitch is because of the way our cochlea is shaped and what they call the organ of Corti.
We're talking about the ear here, right?
We are talking about the ear.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Mate, if people listen to the podcast and they don't know where the cochlea is, still listen to the show because we love you, but like, fucking hell, read a book.
What the fuck does the shape of my cock have to do with my hearing?
Babe, want to try something new? Apparently it'll help your hearing.
Call this one the wristwatch.
Okay. Focus. So, on the cochlea, you've got little hairs. Okay, so you've got little hairs. So the cochlea is like the shell, and then inside you've got the organ of Corti, and the organ of Corti is what picks up the sound. Now, so if you imagine like it's like a snail shell, and where the entry to the snail shell is, that's where the higher notes are picked up. So the higher frequencies, so your mosquito noises and things like that, your sirens and things. So what actually happens is they're the first to get damaged due to loud noises. So when you listen to a song where you hear something, a siren goes past or a loud bang or something like that, or your husband sticks his dick in your ear with great velocity because you haven't read a book. So they're the first hairs to get damaged. So the first hairs you lose are the ones that help detect the high pitched noise.
They're the
That's
ones
why-
taking the brunt of the force through the
Exactly. So
snail
the-
shell, so to
yeah,
speak.
exactly. So they're the ones that, and as you go on and on and on, depending on how much, how loud the noise is and how long you listen to it and the amount of times, all that type of stuff. Everyone varies obviously in their ability to maintain those hairs. So as you get further down the organ of Cordy and you wrap more around the snail shell, more towards the center, that's where the lower frequencies are detected. So that's why elderly people can hear lower frequencies better than they can hear higher frequencies.
Okay. Is that why they have shit taste in music too?
I don't mind some of the older style music. I think,
No, me too.
that's bullshit. No, the music out today is like that popular music as out today. is
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
shit.
Yeah, that's how we
At
know we're
least
getting
they
old.
had-
This damn music, it's not music, that's noise.
These days with their fake drums. I better not do the Bill Cosby voice. Yeah, that would be very disrespectful to a lot of people. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed our 2-part series on.
I feel like
Your
the
aging?
takeaway from this episode was that old people really need to get their shit together.
And it's not their fault.
Yeah, it's not their fault. Hopefully technology can fix it up by the time we get there, so we don't cop it from a younger pair of whippersnappers holding a
please.
podcast.
They'll come up with something, and we'll die from something else. There'll be something else that we die from.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's always something. Now you can
If
actually
you don't want to die, then you can become a Patreon member and help support the show.
if
so-
you become a patron, you will not die.
Yeah,
Conditions apply.
yeah.
If
So-
you'd like to catch us live as well, we will be appearing in Sydney at Pint of Science in the
Yeah.
14th, 15th, and 16th of May.
That is correct. Yeah, we'll be doing a couple of live shows. We'll be speaking to a bunch of scientists. They'll be doing a bunch of presentations and stuff like that. We'll be there for really poor
the beer.
comic relief, and we get free beer, I think. So, which is awesome. So, come watch me get slowly drunker and drunker as Byrne tries to save the day.
That's right. If you've been offended by anything, you can come and tell me to my face how I've offended you.
Thanks very much, guys. Please leave a review on your podcast listening apparatus. You can follow us on Twitter at Sci-gasm Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that type of stuff. That all goes a long way in helping us, obviously, and especially those patrons. Thank you so much to all the patrons we get. You guys are awesome. You help us just fund the show, which is awesome. We love you guys so much.
Mwah.
Mwah. See you guys. Thanks very much for listening.